Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is hole numbers 1 through 3 of the Winter Major 2025 Master Division qualifying round. For hole number 1, I'm actually going to show you two different videos for the drive. One is going to be for APOC 6 and above users. One's going to be for, excuse me, APOC 5 users. So for the drive, if you have an APOC 6 and above, we're going to start off with a power 4 ball, specifically a katana. I'm going to pull back to sniper range, so make sure you have sniper packed. We're going to use max top spin with 2 left spin with our sniper, so 6.1 top spin, 2 left spin. And then stretching out to P4 max extension, I'm going to have my blue ring touching the rough on the left-hand side. That's going to be for APOC level 8. APOC 7 will be about 30% overlap. APOC 6 will be 60% overlap. Then we swapped over to our Kingslayer ball, and our adjustment will be P0 max plus 20% elevation. Then we're going to apply max overpower with 1.5 balls of left curl. We hit perfect. Our ball is going to land in the first fairway. We're going to bounce over the rough and bunker into the next fairway. And then we are going to roll out for a drive distance of 402 yards. So again, that was for APOC 6 and above users. If you have an APOC level 5, obviously you don't have quite enough topspin to be able to use the Sniper 10 method and even take the shot with APOC. So this is what you'll do if you have an APOC 5. So similar setup, obviously. We're going to be starting off with a P4 ball. But first, we're going to set our aim. So pretend like we have an APOC 5 showing here, not an APOC 8, but we're going to set up at max stretch with our katana ball. APOC 5 is going to be about 30% of our, or about 60% of our blue ring overlapping the rough to the left. And then once we have our aim set, we're going to swap to a Kingslayer. And then we're going to swap to Extra Mile level 9. Make sure you swap to a Kingslayer before you swap to Extra Mile. Otherwise, you're going to mess up your landing, your aim. It's going to pull you back a couple yards. Now with our Extra Mile, we're going to apply 6.1 top spin with 2 left spin. And then we'll adjust with our Extra Mile using P0 max plus 20% elevation, which with a 9.2 wind is going to be 5.2 rings. And I'm starting this adjustment from the blue ring. Then we're going to use max left curl with our Extra Mile, max overpower. There is going to be a tiny little shake to it, but we do hit perfect. And then the outcome is going to be the same as the APOC 6 discussion. We're going to bounce over the rough into the second portion of the fairway. And for this one, we're going to roll out for a drive distance of 404. But our approach that we'll go over here in a second is going to be based on my other drive of 402. Not that it matters entirely. All right, so for our approach, we're going to be using a Grizzly level 9. First thing we're going to do is perform a top blue ring pin check. So placing the top of our blue ring through the cup, we are at plus 6 yards. Then we're going to use 2 bars of backspin, no side spin. If you can't get no side spin visible, then you can use a click of left or right spin. Either way, doesn't matter. Set up so the ball guide is to the hole. And then our adjustment based on our plus 6 check is going to be P0 minus 10% elevation at 40% slider. So with 10.3 wind, my adjustment is 8.0 rings. And we are starting from the white ring. Then we're going to center the ball. We hit perfect. Ball's going to land in the fairway, bounce up onto the green, and we're going to come in nicely center cup for the eagle. All right, for hole number 2, we're going to start off, we're going to be using a Sniper level 10, but we're going to start off by loading the hole with a Navigator ball. You can load the hole with any power level ball you want. You're always going to start off in the same NMT position, so the no moving target position, which is what this shot is going to be, an NMT setup. But we start with Navigator so we can easily set our spin. So 3.7 backspin with 1 right spin. Then we're going to swap over to a Kingslayer ball. Our adjustment is going to be wind minus 0.4. So my adjustment here is 8.9 rings, pulling from the white ring. And then I'm going to use circle break overpower. Actually, it's about 1 click more than circle break overpower. We hit perfect. Ball's going to land in the fairway. We're going to bounce up onto the green to the right and a little bit past the cup. And then the idea is that we're going to come down the slope as we do here and drop center cup for the hole-in-one. All right, hole number 3, difficult par 5. Gonna take 3 shots to get our eagle. Unfortunately, no Alba opportunity here, but we're gonna start with an extra mile level 9 and a Kingslayer ball. We're gonna set up a max rest with our yellow ring touching the rough to the right. Then we're gonna use max topspin with our extra mile for right spin. And if you have an APOC 7+, you can swap to that club after you set your spin. Our adjustment is P0 max plus 20% elevation, pulling from the white ring with APOC. If you're using extra mile, you're going to pull from the blue ring. And then APOC users will use 1.5 balls of right curl with max overpower. Extra mile will just use max right curl. And we do hit perfect. We're going to land on the right side of the fairway, bounce over the rough, and this drive has been extremely consistent, rolling down the slope in the middle of the fairway, finishing between 430 and 434 yards. For our second shot, we're going to use a CAT level 5+. You can set your aim or your spin in any order you like, but our aim is going to be centered at the bottom of the fairway with our bullseye at the very edge of the fairway, so just before it clips the rough. Then we're going to use 5 topspin with 4 left spin, and our adjustment is always going to be P0 max plus 20% elevation. I have not had an adjustment for the second shot yet that pulled into overpower, though we do get close, and obviously if we have a bit higher wind, we may actually pull into overpower. Our base overpower is going to be circle break, but I would definitely recommend using a little bit more versus a little bit less. That way we ensure that we don't clip the rough, because you can see we do land very close to the edge of the rough. So making sure you use a little bit more is better than too little. And obviously if you pull into overpower, make sure you are using more. But we're going to finish on the right side of the fairway, and this is going to leave us with a short iron bounce up approach for our eagle. So for the short iron approach, we're going to use a Thorn level 9. We're not going to use any spin for the shot. We're just going to first perform a bottom blue ring pin check. So bottom of our blue ring through the cup. We are at plus 4 yards. Then we're just going to position ourselves with the ball guide to the hole. Again, we're not using any spin. And our adjustment based on our plus 4 check with a 9.0 wind is going to be P0 plus 20% elevation at 36% slider, which is 4.0 rings starting from the red ring. Then we're just going to center the ball. We hit perfect. Ball's going to land in the fairway, bounce up onto the green. And we're going to drop nicely for eagle, just a little bit right of center, but still a drop nonetheless. For further instructions on how to play this hole, make sure you guys click the link below and subscribe to Master Tournament Guides through Golf Clash Tommy. Good luck in your qualifying rounds.